Now, at some point, I intend to glue down all the components in this thing. So that's a finishing touch that's going to have to wait. And I believe I'm going to order some different value resistors for the DC filter supply. In the meantime, I'm gonna put it together, deliver. The instructions, he's bringing it back in a couple weeks for inspection. And that's just in case he doesn't want me to change anything. That's the reason why I'm not gluing anything down yet. He, you know, we did some experiments there with the sound. He might want some adjustments to the tone. I'm hoping he's not, because it sounds pretty damn good as is. Very workable, I think. Very. You know, if this is the amp that someone grabbed back in the, what was it, 80s or 90s, when, you know, all you had were Marshalls that you could overdrive, I could see why this would be hype. By today's standards, it's, I don't know, a lot of manufacturers have this kind of design and have even since improved upon it. You see similarities in like the Mesa and even slightly in the 5150. You know, this, I guess, is the grandfather of what started modern amps as we know it. Meantime, we're gonna put some finishing touches on it, put it together, get it all presentable. And one finishing touch is this addition of a foil tape across the top of the box so that the accent lighting can be shined, reflected back down against the chassis. Now with that in place, let's finally put this guy together. Kind of doing it upside down right here. Little screw still going, it's nice. Now I kind of want to leave the front off for now because it's gonna make it easier to tube roll it. We will put the back on. Are those KT88s gonna clear that back panel? Because we kind of spec'd this out for KT88s. Ugh, it's awfully close, man. Oh, great. This back panel is touching the tubes. Little bit of a design faux pas, but I guess that's what happens when it's clone built. That's ridiculous. Oh, what difference is the lighting gonna make now? Oh yeah, a lot more shine. What are we gonna do about this panel? We need to shim it, don't we? Holte. Final fitting. All right. Also be nice if it had more screws. I feel like this panel's gonna rattle. Maybe it's good that it touches the tubes. Maybe I should put some like high temperature silicone baffling there. So these don't stick out past the chassis. But yeah, these sides here are sunken in. They're not even in the same spot. This is a bit of a homebrew. It's like good, but it's homebrew. I'm thinking weather stripping. Uh-oh, it's stuck to the bag. We're gonna have a bad section there. It might squish down a bit too much. Almost feel like we need thicker than this. Maybe we might need to do 2 portions of weather stripping. All right, let's see how that sits now. Oh yeah, it'll clear the tubes now. Well, we'll see, because we still have to put screws in it, right? Where's my pin poker now? There it is. Somewhere in here. I should probably use longer screws for more grip. So just snug them on there. Okay, they clear the tubes by a margin, so unless that wobbles too much. Well, there is another angle we can use here. If we flip this around, there's this, lip here, and then it can probably touch against the back of the plastic inserts that the lights are on. And give it a little bit of leverage so that just to say it'll keep this, it needs a lot of flex to touch those tubes now. And there are screw holes pilot. This is originally how it was, but we found that this lip was touching the tube sockets. Still are. But at least with this relief on the weather stripping, it's not as bad. Oh, those holes aren't drilled straight at all. That's sweet. I think that's a little bit better, actually. I don't know. There's different options in how we can put this on here. Maybe it needs another layer of weather stripping so that it sits more proud. And then ideally, I think another 2 holes. Tell me that's not stock. You need like a little something here. Oh, it clears the tubes now, at least. Let's get the preamps back into place. These sockets are finally starting to loosen up. They were so friggin' tight at first. Ah, yes. We have shields for position 1 and 2. We might as well put the front on for now. We're not gonna tube roll this for, I guess he'll be by tomorrow. So what's this one hitting against? Just the top here. That calls for more weather stripping, but that means longer screws. That means we gotta find black picturesque screws. Cabinet hardware section at your hardware store. Yeah, They're gonna sell colored screws. Pretty sure. Ah, we should plug it in and see if she still works. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? Just the slightest bit of hiss and absolutely no hum. Let's switch channels. Ah. Ah, how about that? Overdrive channel, no hiss. Silence! Exactly the effect I was going for. Yes. Lot of thump. Lot of low end. I had to dial it back because it was saturating the microphone. Holy jeez. But when you're standing next to this thing, like, it's just like brr, 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 brr. You can feel, even at lower volumes, like moderate, not even jamming volumes, you feel your pant legs kind of waggling there. The depth certainly is deep. Well, that has certainly been an interesting and time-consuming adventure. I started on Wednesday last week. It's Thursday of this week. And I didn't work on the weekends. I guess I get it, you know? Are there amps that sound better? Yeah. Now, based on the schematics I've read and my skill level, I'm fairly confident that's what a Soldano should sound like. However, I have never heard a real Soldano. I've only heard the Jet City, and I slightly prefer the sound of my Jet City, but that's because it's my Jet City and I've tuned upon it. Can I tune on this one? Oh, heck yeah. Do I want to? Well, it's not my amp. I will say, the low end response and the thump out of it, just it's just brr, you know what I mean? Brr. I can see why back in the early 90s, or was it the late 80s? I don't know, I forgot. People hearing this for the first time would get hyped. Why it became demand, it's the grandfather of high gain amps. And other people, they've since improved upon the design. A lot of that schematic's very similar to what you see in the Messas, dual rects and whatnot. And there are inspirations of it in the 5150 and, well, I don't know about Friedman. And I'm sure there's others. If we analyzed all sorts of schematics, I'm sure we could see some DNA coming back to this amp. And of course, the DNA of this amp, well, I believe it was inspired by Marshall. So in a day when in order to get some good sounds, you had to overdrive a Marshall, oh boy. And once again, I'm not sure how to end these things. I hope you enjoyed this. Do I have other things like this coming? Well, unfortunately, I don't get to build projects of this caliber very often. Someone would have to hire me to build them a custom clone amp, but I can. Otherwise, for now, I'm going to be sticking to modding on my existing amps. I do have another 2 major-ish projects planned. You know, another head that I am planning on cloning on, and then I have another head that needs restoration and repair. So, hey, if you like these tube amps, stay tuned. Stay tuned for more. The season's not over for me yet, and even if it is, my release time drags it out over the course of a year. I guess we'll see what happens. Wow, I really gotta come up with better ideas on how to end videos.